Hey Tenno, this is Mako, and we're going to discuss Saryn yet again. So, just some tips, tricks, and how to utilize her for some more tactical destruction and mayhem. So, 3 weapons I would suggest you looking at when you're building a Saryn. 1 would be the Pox, 2 would be the Tord, and 3 would be the Mutilous Sinros. Why? Well, the fact is, with the Pox and those type of weapons, you can quickly spread your spores by placing gassy effects upon your molt. These gassy effects will pop your spores, and some of them will even, like the Mutilous Sinros and the Pox, just innately have a toxin, so you can have 2 other status types while having a toxin status to pop your spores and spread toxic and viral among the enemies. So, the Mutilous Sinros and the Pox both have innate toxic, so the main strategy I would state would be have a blast and corrosive setup with that, so that way you have corrosive burning armor, toxic bypassing shields, and blast the CC spread spore. Now blast is very useful for spreading spores because it instantly pops the entire spores upon the body, not just one, which is rather effective as each spore when popped spreads 3 spore types. Now I usually use something like this, the Sobek, because the Sobek has acid shells. When acid shells is engaged, it takes the base HP of the enemy killed, spreads it as a damage type of corrosive, burning away even more armor, and effectively killing multiple enemies because it can chain kill, so if it kills one and that one dies, that one's HP is applied to the effect as well, so it can keep stacking multiple effects of itself. Now melee wise, I tend to use the Mios or the Lucretia because, well, they're blade whips, they're kinda cool. But the main effect of them is they have they're the only melee able to use a charge attack while in a sheath state. All the other blades you must pull them out to attack with to deal a charge attack. Now this may change at a later point, but that's why I simply like it. So it's pretty much a different playstyle with this blade. This blade can be used in either close-up or kind of mid-range attacks. So with this whip part effect, you can deal some serious spore spreading with Toxic Lash. Now, Toxic Lash on top of it just is icing on the cake, because as you pop a spore with Toxic Lash, you gain energy. 2 energy per spore, and as each spore releases 3 more spores, it just becomes a chain reaction of getting more and more energy over time. Now, Saryn herself is a damage over time base frame, meaning you're not going to do a lot of damage right off the bat, but once you get those spores spread, you do some serious damage. I think I've seen up to about 1 trillion damage type. Mainly, to get that type of damage, you have to have a lot of viral and toxic procs upon a bunch of enemies, because per viral proc there's 100% buff, per toxic proc there's 100% buff to your 4th power. If your 4th power sees both toxic and viral, that's a total of 200% per those types. So, rather effective, deal a lot of damage. Now, I've switched out Power Drift with Cunning Drift, just so I can get a little more spore spread. Overall, it really hasn't impacted my damage type, but it's rather useful. Now, for those of you who don't want to be a melee-centric Saryn, here's a spore build type. Spore builds revolve around spreading a large number of spores rather quickly, so you deal a very high amount of damage in a very large area with your miasma. Now, miasma is rather useful because every time you cast miasma, it will reset miasma's counter of the first one. So if you go miasma, and wait a couple seconds, and miasma again, you just reset the counter so it continuously deals the damage. Now, this is why I like the Pox more than anything, because the Pox can just rapidly be thrown and you can cover more area than even the Tord or the Sinros in a very fast frame, of time. Dealing a lot more damage and killing a lot more enemies and spreading a lot more spores. Now, the Sobek is just more for killing a lot of mobs, because viral keeps cutting their HP down. You can just shred through them rather easily. Now, see, as miasma spread all over an area, it also CCs enemies, making them not able to attack you while they're being attacked by miasma. So if you're damaged or hurt, you can just pop your molt and miasma. Now, one of the main factors you can use regenerative molt, but some builds don't require it, such as this spore one. And because I have life strike on my melee, I cover that basis. Regenerative molt is more useful than anything if you weren't going to use life strike, or if you were going to be up close and personal all the time. That way you can rely on both life strike and regenerative molt. As you can see, I can just deal with these enemies rather quickly, even without having regenerative molt. So, thanks for watching, and I hope this has helped you develop your builds.